Alright, what's going on everybody? I'm back with another video, doing another review. Today we're looking at the Runcam Thumb Pro V2. Now this is not a new product, but it's something I've been using for a little while and thought it would be nice to make a video on it because I have enough experience where I think my opinion is actually valuable. So, we're going to get into the specs, my experience. I'll show you some example footage. I'll show you what it looks like with and without a color grade and with and without gyro flow. So let's just get right into it. Alright, quick disclaimer, all the specs I'm reading you are directly from the Runcam website. So, first of all, we have, as advertised, 16 grams. That's incredibly light for a full 4K 30 camera. This is weighing about as much as an average racing tiny whoop, so that's pretty good. I have to give them that. Let's see. The website advertised that this camera can run up to 4K at 30 FPS, which I have found to be true. And it actually gives out some really good footage, but I'm going to read out the other options at what this can output. So we got 4K 30, 2.7K at 60, 1440p at 60, 1080p at 120, and 1080p at 60. So those are the options advertised on the website. I'm assuming you could probably find lower options, but you know, I can't promise that because they never said anything about that on their product description. One cool feature about this is the lens actually snaps on and off. It clicks on, it's nice and solid. I've never broken one of these and I've never lost one, but that makes these super easy to use ND filters with. Now, if you don't know what ND filters are, they're essentially sunglasses for a camera. They slow down the shutter speed, they make the colors look nicer, there's different grades. Go find a video on ND filters. I'm sure Joshua Bardwell has a great one you could watch, but that's another cool feature that I think Runcam definitely listened to the users, because I think the original Runcam thumb, it looked like this. They did an okay job, but I think people were losing some of the ND filters. So I'm glad they fixed that. Super nice feature right there. And it has saved the lens a few times, I have to say. Another unique feature of this camera is how you set it up. So there's all sorts of settings you can change. Everything pretty much you want to change in a basic camera. You got ISO, white balance, shutter speed, everything like that. It can all be changed, so just because there's no battery, which I'll tell you about in a second, does not mean that the settings are stuck in any way. So how it works is you get an app on your phone, and you'll change the settings to whatever you want, pick the camera you have, and it'll generate a QR code with the settings listed below. And then you just power on the camera, and I could be wrong, but I believe you double tap or maybe triple tap the button, point at the QR code, and it'll begin flashing green and red, showing that it's got the settings and it's downloading it. Now, obviously, you need to have an SD card in there, but that's how it works. The one problem I have found is, because I am still a youngin', I have age restrictions on my phone, and the app for this, I don't know why, but it is 17 plus, so I can't have the app on my phone. Now, I'm assuming most of you guys, that's not going to be a problem, but for me, it was, so I thought it was worth pointing out. That, you know, that's the thing. So I just use, you know, you can look up other settings. People have generated the QR codes, but that is kind of annoying. It's just like a little thing that's a little bit annoying to me. There's all sorts of great videos on YouTube of people setting up these cameras. I'm not going to show you how to do that, but go find one. I promise you will find a great tutorial, and there's all sorts of setup videos available for you. All right, let's talk battery. So this also is a pretty unique system in the forms of powering this camera. As you can see, it's tiny. There's not a lot going on in here. And it has a pretty standard looking plug. And also it has the labels. So it's got a 4-pin plug, which is good for power, ground, TX, and RX, which if you know anything about beta flight or drones, anything like that, that means it's UART compatible. But that's a whole nother subject we'll get to in a second. Don't worry about it. But the cool thing and also annoying thing is that this powers off of your drone. So for someone like me who doesn't have a ton of drones, that's actually super nice because it lets me get a super light and actually cheap camera onto something like this. This is a 2.5-inch Cineloop, and ignore this heat shrink. I haven't done it yet because I'm lazy. But this is what the plug looks like. So it would plug into the camera as it's mounted here and be powered off of the flight controller with a stable 5-volt output. Now that is actually the max for this camera, is 5 volts. That's not a rare thing, but I just, you know, throw it out there so you don't plug it straight into a 4S battery and just explode it. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. I know I kind of forgot to mention this, but right now this camera is anywhere between $90 and, I don't know, $105, which for 4K 30 and I'll show you the actual video output in a second. I think it's a pretty good deal, especially for someone freestyling on a smaller setup that needs to have a significantly lighter camera if they want to make YouTube videos or anything like that. It's 100% worth it, because if you smash this, it's not very durable. Obviously, it's pretty light, but it's going to be a lot cheaper to replace than a GoPro. So definitely a good price-wise, I have to admit. But back to the powering situation, you plug this in, and it comes with 2 cords. One of them is just 5-volt and ground, so it just powers the camera, and you do all the controls with this button here, start, stop, all the basic stuff. The other one comes with all 4 wires set up, so that you can set it up to a UART and set record on and off to a switch. Now that's something that I think is really, really innovative, but I've never messed with it. In fact, this is that second cord, because my first one ripped. You can actually look and see that I clipped off the UART wires because I just didn't want to mess with it. And honestly, I think it's more reliable to just start and stop right there on the camera. But anyway, they are really breakable. That's why I'm going to, but I'm going to heat shrink up the top where you have to pull on it to unplug and plug it back in, because the last one I was using definitely just ripped at the seams, and they're thin wires, so you got to be careful with them. But like I said, for someone using just really one quad with this camera, having it plug in is not a huge deal, but it does get pretty annoying, even for someone with one quad, but especially for someone that wants to use this on 4, 5, 6 different rigs. I'm not sure what you're using that for, but maybe you can't just throw it on a new quad is what I'm saying. It has to be kind of pre-set up for it. All right, and with this camera, you do get a 3D printed mount. One thing I have to point out, though, is that it is a micro mount. I guess you'd say a micro mount. It is not a full-size GoPro clip. So I guess the best way to explain is just to show you that cine loop one more time. If you look at this mount, you notice that it has a full GoPro-sized clip, meaning that if I didn't have this, I could just put a GoPro in there, screw it on. Yes, it's too heavy, but for proof of concept, just look past that for now. This is a separately printed mount. Shout out my cousin Emmett. If you took the originally included mount, it just would not fit in here. It's way too small. It's like an M2 screw that comes with it. It's a very small mount. It works for a small camera on a small drone, but not for something like this. You're going to either have to buy or print your own mount like I did, and you know, that's something worth knowing. The website says that this camera can take up to 256 gigabytes of a micro SD card. Now that just pops off the back here, fits right in there, super sleek. Now on the original thumb camera, we had people saying that these were popping off during crashes. Now I never had that camera, so I can't vouch for it, but this does stick on pretty good, and I have had no issues with it coming off whatsoever, so I want to point that out. Now, if for some reason you don't feel like taking out the SD card or even taking the camera out of the mount to get to the SD card, there is a micro USB port right here. Now, what that's been useful for me is doing bench setup, meaning it's not my quad's not plugged in, but I just want to scan a different QR code to get some new settings on here. You plug that in, you're good to go. It'll power at 5 volts, or you can use it to pull information and videos or photos or whatever you want off the micro SD card. They do include a short data cable, but I had my own, so nice little touch there by Runcam. And honestly, that's about all the specs I can think of. If there's anything I missed, please leave in the comments down below. But right now, I'm going to show you some video. I'll label it. There's going to be color grade versus no color grade, stabilization and gyro flow versus no stabilization. Some of that obviously depends on the day. If it's a cloudy day, it's going to suck. You know, that's just how it is. And if it's a bad quad, bad props, windy day, it's going to be more shaky than normal, so you just got to keep that in mind. But I'm going to show you the footage I've got. There's not a ton of it, but enjoy, and thanks for watching this video.
You got the devil in your eyes. You went and took me by surprise. Say what you want to say, I won't go back. If you want to hit the road, then let's go then. Let's just go and see the world and just show them what it really means to live life golden. Yeah, we're golden, baby girl.